Good morning, all. Camelback Trading 2724 and the pitfuturestrading.com coming to you this Friday, the 13th, March 13th. Looking at yesterday's market profile of the SPY ETF here on Window Trader. I'm in 16 tick increments. Tremendous range yesterday. Good news, bad news. We had a price probe yesterday to the downside. Right now, with just over an hour to go prior to the opening, that's being firmly rejected. Bad news is, as of right now, we're still below this tremendous sell tail. Now, again, the way we've been moving, that could be taken back in 10 minutes. It's over $4, the sell tail, and then we have the gap that's remaining. That's over $4. But again, those could be filled literally in 5 minutes these days. So it'll be interesting to see if the low we put in yesterday holds, which would basically be above the December 18 low and the January 19 low. So again, we'll see how it transpires going into today. But right now we're looking to open in balance above value. Okay, so destinations for this morning. So for the upside, the first one was going to be the price probe. That is being firmly rejected at $249.55. We're trading $11 higher than that as of right now. Now, we had 11 wide. That's going to now be a downside destination if we don't open below it. So your first destination on the upside is yesterday's high. Well, right now, a pre-market high is 260.93. So we're trading right around there. There's a good chance that could be higher. So whatever your pre-market high is going to be, as long as it's below yesterday's high, will be your first destination on the upside. Then yesterday's high of 266.66, and then filling the gap at 270.88, a 422-point gap. Inside of that gap, right near where it gets filled, is 270.57, which was 12 wide from March 12th of 2019. Exactly a year ago yesterday. If we're to fill that gap, we have nothing until an afternoon rally high from March 11th of 280.74. So literally, we don't have anything for another $10 if we're to fill that gap. Then we have a daily high of 281.94, and then a weekly high, which would be this week, of 288.52. Let me just make sure of that. These numbers have changed so much. This week's high, yes, it would be this week's high. Obviously, it's not in yet, but if we were to get there, that'd be a heck of a rally. 288.52, which would be this week's high if it holds, and then fill in the gap at 290.23 from March 9th. So as you can see, right, your price points on both sides is so far and wide, and price has to seek its level, and that's why these algos are set to these things. For the downside, our first destination right now would be 11 wide at 270.57. I'm sorry. Downside would be 254.15, which was 11 wide from yesterday. Okay, that'd be your first downside. Your pre-market low right now is 253.28. So below that would then be 253.28, our pre-market low. And then below that would be yesterday's low of 247.68. So until we get more market-generated information, you're going to get some major whipsaw and chop in your initial balance. Okay? All right, what's the game plan? Well, they're attempting, it doesn't look as big because I'm in 15 tick increments or 16. This is a pretty large sell tail, right? They're going to attempt to chew into that before they even get to the gap. That doesn't even take into account that right now we're $13 higher from the low from yesterday. Okay? So everything has to be put into perspective. Inside here, I'm not going to do anything. If we're to get into the gap in a period, I would possibly take a put play to see, because again, filling that gap the first time, although these times are unusual, is usually rare. Now, we got into it yesterday on that spike. So this would be the second time really getting into it, but it's still rather large. So I would possibly take a put play up there. If we are to come down, now remember, it's not a price spike because it happened too early in the day. However, this is a pretty visual point, right? Except for GH and I just briefly, we traded basically in A's range the whole day except for the price probe. So I think for buyers, if we're to open above A's high, it's pretty important to hold. So if you were to come down, I would probably look to take a call play. You'd have higher value, and it's an important level to hold. If you get accepted back into A's range and certainly back into yesterday's value, I'm out of the trade, because then for sure the odds are going to be very, very high that we go back down and trade at POC. And we're talking about some big numbers here, right? So A's high from yesterday's 259.12. Yesterday's POC isn't into 254.15. You know, that's $5. And like I said, we've been trading these ranges in literally minutes. But I would look to take a call play above A's high, out if accepted back in. I would look to take a put play either right at yesterday's high or into the gap, especially if we are to taper off, if we're to get into the gap, to see if we ought to come down a little bit. Now, everything changes if in A period we just trade inside the sell tail and then B starts one-time framing up. I'm going to be a lot less likely to take a put play because then things have changed. We're going to have higher value and we're going to have one-time framing up. Doesn't mean I want to go long yet because that gap is still huge. I'll still look for more market-generated information, but I don't think I would take a short play then at that time. Same on the downside. If we're to open and basically chop inside the sell tail the whole time, and then in B period start one-time framing down, I'm not likely to buy it then right above A. I want to see what happens. If B comes in, gets rejected back into A's range, and then C starts, market generated information is going to give you the game plan as we go along. So this is going to change very fluidly. Just keep that in mind, especially in the ranges we've had today. Our average volume is now 201 million. We did 390, I'll look in the charts in a second, but we did our most volume during this whole move yesterday. So those are two early plays for the morning. And then chart-wise, so here's what I was saying. My ultimate destination is still those two lows. However, that doesn't mean you have to get to them to the nose to figure out, hey, did they hold or whatnot. We traded as low as, our low yesterday is 247.68. With these kind of moves, that low is 243.67. Did we bottom? I don't know. Certainly, again, one day doesn't make a market, but this is a pretty nice relief rally we're getting early, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Weekly, again, nothing's really changed. One-time framing down, 3 weeks, inside week down. If we were to finish, maybe we'd have a nice little buy tail to end the week. Maybe we held this weekly low from back in December. And then on the daily, so right now, we're down. Gap is my main focus. We're looking to trade towards the upper end of yesterday's range. All it means, though, is as of right now, we're in balance. That's all it means right now. The first step the bulls have to take is to take out yesterday's high, which stops the one-time framing down, puts you firmly in balance. Next step is to close the gap and could get into this 3-day balance. It's all baby steps. If we can't take out yesterday's high, even though we're up 5% this morning, 5%, it means nothing if we can't take out yesterday's high. All it would mean is we're down but still in balance. So yesterday's volume was 392 million. So yes, we beat it by like 7 million. Good luck trading today. Have a great day trading. We'll recap the day and the week at 4 p.m.